Biography 18. Liberator Simón Bolívar. Far from the great palaces of Spain, across the Atlantic Ocean, a child was born in the city of Caracas on July 24th, 1783. His world was rich in beauty, but also heavy with colonial power, social divisions, and silent dreams of freedom. His name was Simón José Antonio de la Santísima Trinidad Bolívar Palacios Ponte y Blanco, but history would remember him simply as Simón Bolívar. He came from a wealthy Creole family, yet destiny would not allow him to live only as an aristocrat. One day, this boy from Caracas would become El Libertador, the liberator, a man whose name would echo across the mountains, plains, and republics of South America. Bolívar grew up in an age when the world itself seemed to be waking from an old dream. Across the ocean, powerful ideas were shaking thrones, empires, and ancient traditions. The Enlightenment taught people to question authority. The American Revolution proved that colonies could break away from empire. The French Revolution filled Europe with the dangerous language of liberty and equality. Then Napoleon invaded Spain, and suddenly the distant power that ruled Spanish America became weak and uncertain. In the colonies, many Creoles began to wonder if their future truly belonged to Spain, or if a new world could be born from the ruins of the old one. His childhood had wealth, but it did not have peace for long. Bolívar was born into a powerful aristocratic family, yet he lost both parents while he was still young. Relatives and tutors guided him, but one teacher left a deeper mark than the others, Simón Rodríguez. Through him, the young Bolívar discovered the ideas of thinkers like Locke, Voltaire, and Rousseau. They wrote about natural rights, freedom, and the belief that governments should serve the people, not only kings. For Bolívar, these ideas were not cold words on a page. They became sparks in his imagination, slowly lighting the thought that Spanish America could one day be free. As a young man, Bolívar traveled to Europe, and there his vision became wider and more dangerous. He saw elegant courts, political debate, and the astonishing rise of Napoleon, a man who seemed to turn history by force of will. Europe taught Bolívar that revolutions could destroy old worlds, but also that power could corrupt even those who spoke the language of freedom. A famous tradition says that in Rome, on Monte Sacro, Bolívar made a solemn promise to dedicate his life to freeing Spanish America. Whether this moment is taken as history or legend, it captures the soul of his journey, a young aristocrat beginning to see himself as a revolutionary. From that moment, Bolívar's life became a road of war, exile, return, and impossible marches. His greatest achievements did not come from comfort, but from hunger, cold, fear, and relentless movement across difficult lands. At one dramatic moment, he led freezing, exhausted soldiers across the high peaks of the Andes Mountains, where the air was thin and the journey seemed almost impossible. Yet, on the other side of those mountains, surprise and victory waited. Bolívar became a central leader in the liberation of present-day Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Panama, and Bolivia. His dream reached its boldest form in Gran Colombia, a massive united republic that covered much of northern South America. But Bolívar was not a simple hero from a perfect legend. He was ambitious, energetic, visionary, and often impatient with weakness. He believed in independence and republican government, yet he also feared that freedom without order could collapse into chaos. This was the great struggle inside his political life. He loved liberty, but he feared division. Because the new nations were unstable, he sometimes took total control as a dictator to keep order. To some, this made him the strong leader they needed. To others, it made him a dangerous ruler. In this contradiction, Bolívar became more human, a liberator fighting not only Spain, but also the storms of politics. His path was filled with danger and disappointment. Bolívar faced defeats, betrayals, exile, assassination threats, illness, and the slow collapse of his dream of unity. After early failures in Venezuela, he fled to Jamaica, then received support from Haiti before returning to the struggle. Victory did not bring peace easily, because the lands he helped free were divided by regions, ambitions, and rival leaders. Francisco de Paula Santander became one of the important figures in these conflicts. Bolívar had dreamed of Gran Colombia as a strong, united republic, but he watched that dream break apart before his eyes. He died near Santa Marta, Colombia, on December 17, 1830. Even after death, Bolívar remained larger than life. Across Latin America, he is remembered as El Libertador, a symbol of independence, anti-colonial struggle, courage, and unfinished dreams. Countries, cities, streets, monuments, currencies, and institutions carry his name. His military uniform recalls command and sacrifice. His sword recalls the hard road of armed liberation. The map of South America recalls his vision of unity. Bolivia itself carries his name, and Venezuela's currency is called the Bolívar. Yet his legacy is more than memory. He was an architect of nations, a man who helped a divided continent imagine itself free, united, and ready to write its own future.